Editing photos is a completely different beast on its own. If one needs to spend an X amount of time in order to learn how to photograph, they need to spend an X amount of time and even some more in order to learn how to post-process. Unfortunately, there are no shortcuts, and it's not like riding a bike. It is a never-ending evolving process, and for some it is a constant struggle. But it doesn't always have to be like that. In this video, I'm gonna walk you through my editing process that relies on very minimal tweaking, since I try to capture the mood on camera. By seeing how I approach post-processing, you will hopefully feel more confident tackling your own photos, even if you are not a very experienced editor. And I am also going to reveal the single biggest mistake that many people make that can completely ruin the mood in their images. Our editing should follow our shooting style. It must be based on feeling, not rigid rules. We aren't editing to fix or improve a bad shot, we're editing to fine-tune the mood and atmosphere we initially captured. Personally, if I apply my basic adjustments, tweaking exposure, contrast, highlights, shadows, and doing subtle color grading, and still doesn't evoke the original mood I intended, I move on. That keeps the process fun and fluid. I just embrace my mistakes. Don't let editing scare you either. I am a total noob when it comes to editing, in a sense that even though I have practiced editing for years, I have never bothered to learn what each slider does or represents. I just trust my eyes and my feelings. I move things around and play like a child, and if I like what I'm seeing, I will just keep it. If not, I will just reset it. The only concrete rule I have learned throughout the years is that black conceals and white reveals when it comes to masking in Photoshop. Ready to see this in action? Okay, let's move to the fun part. Here we are in Adobe Camera Raw. I don't use Lightroom because I don't like the layout very much. If you're used in Lightroom, the panels here are practically the same, so you shouldn't have any problem following me. Now, there are two things that I do when I first open an image. The first one is that I crop to 5:7 because I don't like the 3:2 ratio, and I know that I'm gonna crop, so I adjust my framing while shooting in order to include some breathing room. And yeah, okay, see, doesn't affect the composition because I knew I would be cropping. That's fine. And then the second one is zoom to 100% and increase the sharpening because I use a very flat profile and I need the detail. All right, that's perfect. Let's check again. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so let's edit. Usually my edits are very fast because I try to get the feeling right in camera. And the few things that I do is adjust the contrast a bit, not by a lot in this case because it's already a bit contrasty scene. Okay, now that's fine. Now by adjusting the contrast we see that this area here has darkened quite a bit, so we go to the light tab and to the shadow slider and increase the shadows just a bit. And then we move to color. We don't have, yeah, and let's see, maybe add a bit of warmth into the scene. And what I usually do, because I like the desaturated look in my images, I don't like colors to be popping out. I go to vibrance +30, which is counterintuitive to what I just said, but I move the saturation down to -30. The values are not absolute, I just like them to be +30 and -30 because of my OCD. Okay, that looks fine. Let's see if we don't decrease the saturation by that much. No, okay, let's stick with my OCD here. Good. Now, is there something else we need to do here? Okay, let's see, color grading. Let's play a bit. Add some yellow to the highlights. Definitely not. Now this color wheel is, we have the shadow area, the midtone area, and the highlight area, and you add colors with this wheel. We're in the blue hue now, and the more you approach the edge, it increases the amount of blue that introduces to the image in the midtone area. For this example, this is hideous, so we don't do anything. And let's try the midtones. Definitely not. Yeah, okay. We don't use the color grading. And like I said, I just play around, see what each thing does, and if I like it, I keep it. If not, I will just reset it. Right. So let's add some vignette. Like I said, opening this as a smart object in Photoshop. Good. Now, don't let this panel intimidate you here. This is made by Tony Kuiper. I support Tony since the beginning, since he first introduced the luminosity masks, because they have helped me a lot in my editing process. I like this panel here. It's full of shortcuts. It's shortcuts to the commands here, so it's easier to just press buttons and have things done. And I like this panel here because this is the sharpening, the resizing for JPEG, and it's very easy. You just set the parameters here and then press one of those 3 buttons and it does them automatically for you. I do use a luminosity mask from time to time, but in a very simple form, and just create a simple mask based on the luminosity of the image and then apply some dodging and burning, nothing special. It has a lot of functions, you can do whatever you want here, but I haven't delved into it. If you want to learn more, I'm sure there are more videos on YouTube that you can learn stuff about luminosity mask, and in particular about Tony Kuiper's luminosity masks. This is not, I am not affiliated in any way with Tony. I just like the work that he's doing, and I'm supporting him. So if you like this panel, maybe you should check it out. I would leave a link at the description below, so you can check it out. Anyway, so we want to add a vignette. And the thing that we do is that we select this elliptical marquee tool. Okay, define an area. But we don't want to work on this area, we want to work on the outside of this area. So we select the inverse by going select inverse, or you can do the same thing by pressing this button here. It does exactly the same thing, so you see it's easier than making 2 clicks. And now that our inverted selection is highlighted here, and we press the curves adjustment layer. This will create an adjustment layer here, and we decrease. Okay, like that. I know it looks hideous, but we're not done yet. Now we need to make it go away, we need to smooth it a bit. So the way that we do it is that we go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and yeah, the same is if you press here. It opens this dialog, you go to 1000 maximum, and it's done. And you can adjust it to taste later. For my taste, this is okay. Maybe a bit less. Yeah, that's fine. Now the dog looks a bit dark here, and we have some it's too blue, so let's address the dog issue first. Again, we're gonna do it the crude way, let's say. Just make a selection here. We don't want the inverse now, we just want whatever is inside this selection. Again, we press the adjustment curve, creates another layer with this selection. We just give some brightness to the dog, then blur it again, like that. And it's fine, that's perfect for me. Let's see it in a smaller size. I do this because I want to see if there is the vignette is very, very visible. I mean, if there was a bright circle here, it means that I would have done it would look bad, so it would need to be redone, but for the moment now it's fine. Okay, and the last thing I need to do is that remove some of the blue. So again, hue and saturation, adjustment layer, another layer here. We go to this hand here, select the blue, and just drag it there and desaturate the blues a bit. Yep, okay, that's perfect. Now, final step, flatten the image. I never keep layers on my images, I just save them as a single layer, because I'm not confident that this will be my final edit, but even if it's not, I will do it from the beginning. I don't want to tweak things, I just want to start from the beginning and reach a final edit, because it helps me improve with my editing. This is the way I have been improving over the years. I don't just go back and tweak some things. If I made a mistake, I will acknowledge this mistake, delete it, and then start over again. Now the second one is a bit more complex, but I never say no to a challenge. As you can see, this one is a bit more contrasty than the previous one. We have a lot of shadowy areas and bright areas here. I didn't expose to the right like I talked in the previous video. I just tried to capture the mood on camera. And yeah, let's see. Let's do some fine tuning because it has the mood. It needs a bit of it needs to pop just a tiny bit, like we did in the previous one. Crop to 5:7, maybe like this. Yes, no, yeah, it's fine. I keep the arch here in the center, like that. That's good. All right. Again, detail here, 50. And let's check here as well. Perfect. Okay, so that's the trivial stuff done. Now, I usually don't clone out things, but this branch here, it kind of annoys me. So let's remove this. Let's see how good the generative AI is. Let's adjust the brush size, select it, remove. Come on, do your magic. Okay, it's pretty good. Right, anything else we need to remove? No. Okay, so let's add some contrast to make these colors shine, pop just a bit more. Always use a curve for contrast. I don't like how this contrast works. I prefer the curve because it gives me more flexibility. There we are. That's much better. As you can see, nothing has clipped yet from here. I mean, the histogram is not touching the left side of the the axis here. But let's recover some of the shadows because it's too dark now, and if we print it, it's not gonna look very nice. This, maybe up the exposure just a tiny bit. Yeah, that's fine. And reduce the highlights. Let's see. Okay, I'm not that bothered about these highlights here because it's only natural for the water to behave like that. There is a sun, shining right on the river, and there it's the reflection. It's not unnatural, and I'm not gonna try to polish it into something artificial, like don't have any reflections on the water. And I wouldn't HDR try to multiple exposures because I like this natural look of the image. Let's check the blacks just a tiny bit. Let's see what it does. Yeah, okay, that's better. All right, let's go to color. Add some warmth, definitely. But again, increase vibrance. Let's go to 20 this time and decrease saturation. Again, let's go to 20 this time. Yeah, okay. That looks nice. Maybe less warmth. Yeah, no, maybe more. I don't know. Something like that. Okay, let's add some color grading. I want to add some blues in the highlights or mid-tones, so let's go to the blue hue and move it like that. Try the mid-tones as well. Not too much, just a bit. Yeah, okay. Did it make a difference? Yeah, a bit. Fine, I'm happy with this. Do I need to add just a bit more warmth now? Yeah. Okay, so again, I'm done with the editing here in Adobe Camera Raw. So we are in Photoshop, and I need to brighten this area a bit without overdoing it. I will use the method I showed you in the previous image. It's a crude way of doing it, but if it works, I'm happy with it. If it doesn't, then I will move to the luminosity mask. I don't touch the luminosity mask if I don't have to, because they're more complicated and I don't want to complicate my life. Okay, so we have made the selection. We don't want the inverse, we just want what's inside this circle. Let's do the curve thing and increase luminosity. Fine, blur it. Perfect. Yeah. Okay. That's it. I don't think I need to do something more. I like the yellowish tint that the image has. Creates some warmth and creates some tension. If it's warmer, it gives more tension. If it's blue, if it's colder, it's more subdued. It's more, calm. I like this tension that we have here, and yeah, I'm happy with that. It's fine. Let's do a Grand Vista too, and then I will share a bonus tip about a good practice to adopt before starting editing your photos. Okay, this third and final image, this is from Iceland. Again, same things. Crop, 5:7. Don't want this space here, so I will just move it to this edge. Maybe, yeah, something like that. That's fine. Detail, sharpening to 50. That's perfect. Oh, look, there's a puffing here. Oh no. Sometimes sharpening too much in a humid and misty condition doesn't work very well. So, it created some texture here that doesn't look very nice. So let's dial it down to 30. That's fine. Yep. Okay, that's done with sharpening. Let's go and add some contrast. Like that, and like that. Yep. And reveal some details in the shadows, like that. Now, when it comes to color, when I was there, it wasn't that blue. I mean, there's a blue cast, so I'm trying to add some warmth. And yeah, this is more natural. Not completely natural, but there is still some blue calmness in the image. I don't want to alleviate this completely. Let's leave it there. Okay, still some blue. There's a blue tint now. And vibrance, 30 plus, saturation, 30 minus. Yep. Perfect. Do I need to add something more? Don't think so. Let's go into Photoshop, brighten this part a bit, and add again a vignette in order, to capture the viewer inside. And same process. Add the vignette. We want the outside of the selection, so select inverse. Create the adjustment layer, do this, blur it, like that. Okay. That's almost fine. Yeah, cannot see the vignette, but now this is too dark. And let's brighten this a bit. Let's go something like that. You can put it everywhere you want. This is a completely based on feel. Again, let's add adjustment layer, brighten it, blur it, and boom, fine. Perfect. It's a bit dark here. You can use the luminosity mask in order to fine-tune this further, or you can reduce the opacity of the vignette just a bit. Yep, and maybe reduce now the opacity of this one, just like that. 70. That's it. Perfect. Now if I want to fine tune a bit more, I would use luminosity mask, just to brighten the rock just a tiny bit and do some small adjustments again here. But I'm happy with that. In general, I'm happy with this result, and I'm sure that it would look nice on print. Now, a final note about printing. I know that my images tend to be a lot dark because I like them dark. And even though they look nice on the screen, when I print them, some areas might look way darker than I want them to. So the final part of the editing process is to test print some, check the shadows. If they're too dark, I will make some adjustments. If they're okay, I will leave them. Highlights, I'm not bothered that much because they're never overexposed or too bright. Have you ever come back from a shoot and immediately started post-processing? Excitement can be wonderful, but it might cloud your judgment. Allowing some time to pass, say a month or two, lets that excitement fade, so you can evaluate each photo with fresh eyes. It also helps you see if the image truly resonates with you beyond that initial thrill of the shoot. Which brings us to the mood killer. Presets. Third-party presets, to be exact. The irony of third-party presets is that many photographers say they shoot RAW to avoid the camera's baked-in settings, yet they end up letting someone else's preset dictate the final mood of their image. If you truly want to embrace individuality, you either build your own presets or tackle each image on its own terms, which I strongly suggest. Third-party presets can force you down a path that might be totally different from your original vision and emotional intent. I have drafted a free guide that you can keep on your phone that walks you through each step, from shooting to the final image, to help you preserve that genuine mood in your photos. A link for a free download is at the description below. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep capturing the feeling.